What's going on, everybody? JB the Oracle here, the host with the most, the host with the quotes, back at you, Match My Smoke podcast, and we have a phenomenal guest today. Grammy Award winning, cultural voice of Chicago, multi-platinum artist, co-owner of one of the biggest cultural and black-owned, veteran-owned cannabis companies out here today, the legend, the ism. Let's give him a
Oh
round
man,
of applause. GLC The Ism, y'all. It's star time. What's going on, G?
man, just spread this ism, man. Spread this ism on a wide scale. You know what I'm saying? Touch of the moon.
Yeah, what you been up to today? Know you been running around, moving around a lot.
I did me some push-ups. Did me some treadmill action. Heated up some leftovers right after I got my workout on. Groomed myself a little bit. I was still in celebration from last night when I performed with Taronda J at City Winery, along with Cole Hart from Christian Conflict, Joel Q, Philly, Fillmore Green. He was there. It was an outstanding experience, man. It was a lot of artists that I was unfamiliar with, but I got familiar with them last night, man. They did a hell of a job, and it was a hell of a band. It was a hell of an audience, and it was outstanding, man. I had a hell of a time.
Oh wow, that's an outstanding lineup too for Chicago. And you not unfamiliar with the Chicago City Winery though. You've done performances there in the past before. I almost feel like you're gonna have a residency there. What's the deal with that?
Through the grace of God, man. Well, yeah, I performed there multiple times, probably about 10
Mm.
with other artists. I would come out as a surprise guest, just spreading this ism on a surprise level, you know what I'm saying? And I was always well received by the audience, which is a blessing in itself. So it led to me coming up on August 5th. I'll be headlining the City Winery, man. A place that I've been very familiar with over the years, but this will be my first time headlining it, man. So
August
I hope
5th,
that
y'all.
residency is in effect too, just like what you said.
August 5th, y'all, City Winery. Get those tickets now. Check them out. Just, if somebody been under a rock for the last 2 decades, just familiarize them with who you are, some of the artists that you've worked with in the past, some of the projects that you've been a part of.
Okay, well, yeah, man, I'm GLC The Ism, hailing from the south side of Chicago, Simeon alumni, you know what I'm saying? Chicago State did a little acting up there as well, you know what I'm saying? But then I decided that I really wanted to be a rapper real bad. You know, I had a little trials and tribulations in the streets. I was working a full-time job. And I was like, hey, man, I got this voice. I had been winning talent shows since I was a shorty. And then I met a good friend of mine. Him and a few more of my friends, we all decided to drop out of college at the same time to pursue our dream. And then y'all got this album called The College Dropout, which just went 6 times platinum on a few days ago. You know what I'm saying? So that just went platinum. And then the first record that I was on that people heard me outside of Chicago on a major level called Spaceship that was on that album, that song just went platinum too a few days ago. So man, another 7 million under my belt is a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? So that was early work with Kanye. Then I worked with Jay-Z, Kanye, Kendrick Lamar, John Legend, Twista, Chance the Rapper, Yellow Wolf, Bruce Springsteen, Nicole Ray. Why you all in my grill? You know, King Chip, Kid Cudi, Crucial Conflict, Do or Die, the legendary tracks are like Shauna, like a whole lot of major artists that went on and did their thing. At some point, they all messed with the ism, from Bun B to BJ the Chicago Kid to Freddie Gibbs to just everybody, man. Anybody that was coming up around that time, they probably messed with the ism. Wiz Khalifa, I forgot about
Yeah,
him.
Wiz.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah, no, you have just impactful and excellent resume of the projects you've been a part of. I almost feel like, a person outside looking in, that since college dropout dropped, that
Yeah.
you are looked at as an integral part of delivering classic work.
Yeah, that's really like that, man. Like I was on Kendrick first album, Ye first couple albums, Jay Z's The Black Album, Kid Cudi Man on the Moon too, Paul Wall, The People's Champ, T.I. King, Bun B, Trilogy, several records with BJ the Chicago Kid. Like crucial, like I say, man. I am like a classic vessel. Like if you try to get a classic, you need to come embrace some of this ism, man. As my man Primo writes, we just dropped a classic a couple years ago.
Yeah, nah, and the voice, the lyrics, the bars, you know, they stay impeccable. I feel like, those classic joints you had with Kanye, was really, really soulful. You gave a lot of your life. We learned a lot about who you are just in a great 16, your mom, your
Yeah.
homies you came up with. And
Yes,
then,
sir.
fast forward now, I feel like a lot of the music you've been putting out has been geared towards some of the recent experiences. I'm like, Ism got a little dark on some of these new joints. I heard the cuts me deep. Cuts me deep, baby. Ism got the new single out. Cuts me
Yeah,
deep. It's on
yeah.
all platforms right now. You got to listen to that
Uh,
joint. You hear nothing but pain in the beat. You feel like Ism done been through some stuff though. I listened to them bars. Tell us a little bit about that.
hey, you ever had a nigga need you? That's when you be big, bro. But then he disappear when the money in and licks come. But I don't dwell on that because I know I'm finna hit some. Smart mouth niggas get broke, then they get dumb. These goofies is a joke, like a sitcom. Always come to me for the work because it'll get done. We doubled it up. We doubled it up. We had us around. We bubbled it up. Nothing got touched. The family was up. It was nothing but us. This feeling cuts me deep, but
Yes.
I
They asked us how
need
we did it.
it.
It was nothing but trust.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You asked me how we did it. It was nothing but trust. You asked
I'm like,
me.
that line, man, that line alone was like, you
Yeah,
feel it. Like, you feel that line, especially, you've been around for a long time. You've seen a lot. You
yeah,
super experienced and seasoned. And that just hits different. If you tell a 16-year-old that line, they might not feel it. But
yeah,
the stuff you've been through, seeing people come and go, so many things that happen.
yeah,
You done left Chicago, built a whole different career in the cannabis, which we'll get to. But then you done came
love.
back home, and I'm sure shit didn't change like a motherfucker. Tell us about it.
Hey, it's evolution, man. You know, any man who sees the world the same as you did 10 to 20 years ago, that's a man that's usually 1 to 2 decades behind. You know what I'm saying? Now, you can hold on to your core principles, but if you just standing still and that earth still spinning, you got to ask yourself, how's you winning? You know what I'm saying? Because everything else around you is moving. One thing that I always did, man, I stayed true to who I am as a man and my integrity, and I never sacrificed it. And I stood very firmly on principles. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, the way that I was raised, the things from what I seen through these two eyes, man, they helped mold me into the man that I am today. And I'm just very fortunate that from generation to generation to generation, they always embracing the ism.
And I think, you said it right there. That authenticity, just you being your authentic. I just fucked it up again.
Authentic,
Authentic,
man.
authentic. I'm gonna keep that up in there.
Hey, what
Authentic
you blowing
self.
over there? What you blowing over there, man? I need you some of that.
That ism punch.
Okay,
But
that is a punch. Yeah, it'll do it to you. Yep,
yeah.
check. I like that. Yeah,
So, just being your authentic self throughout the years, a lot of upcomers embrace it. They want to meet you. They know who you are. They familiar with the work.
yeah,
And then just the whole presence. I said to you one time that a lot of situations I seen you in, you just so calm. Even when I seen people kind of being a little disrespectful or a little just
yeah,
out the way, you know You've been that calm energy. That energy, it transitions to the music. Like the music, when we hear you come on the beat, it's calming and informative at the same time. Has your style
Man, bro.
always been that way even from the beginning?
Well, man, so as a shorty, bro, I was like the guy that my homies, they mamas used to tell me that you need to talk to your brother. They'll be like, man, you need to holler at him, you need to holler at him, you need to holler at my son. And I'm their son, Pierre. But they would come to me and be like, I need you to talk to my son. I'm the same age as their son. But they respected the way that I carried myself as a young man, a young adult. I had older parents and older siblings. So I was around older people a lot. And social learning theory is the main way you learn things from your social environment. So I learned to conduct myself in a manner that was respectable, that exercise wisdom. It wasn't very loud. It was more so wise, because I believe when you exercise wisdom, wisdom has the ability to command things to the point where you ain't got to chase nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I came around, I commanded attention, I commanded respect. A lot of times you hear people like, man, I'm going to demand my respect. I had to demand. I ain't have to demand it. I commanded it. It just came to me because the way I carry myself. And the thing is, there were some people that got to experience when I wasn't so calm, and they seen it was a wrath that came behind that. So my whole thing is I look at being solution based and being a man. Man is MAN, maneuver around nonsense. So I don't
I
even let
love it.
nothing get to no level of nonsense, because I've seen what the end result of that is too many times. You know what I'm saying? For me to fall into that trap. So I understand when you got a calm demeanor, you got the ability to calm the whole room down. You know what I'm saying? Being all loud, people gonna be a reflection of that, being disorderly and this and that, and you trying to calm a situation down in that matter, man, people don't like being hollered at. Like, even if you telling me something positive, if you yelling, I'm not embracing it, because the message is getting lost in the translation of your yelling. Yeah,
That's some bars right there for sure.
preach.
I'm like, all right, I want to do this where I start a little bit. I want you to take us back a little bit, and then we'll we'll get to where we are right now.
And I'm just
So
so happy to be here, man. Your question game is off the chain, D-Boss.
thank you. We going I've known you for some time, but I made sure I did my due diligence as well, so I wouldn't leave no stone unturned.
Man,
So
love and respect, man.
So take us back to the go getters. Take us
Oh,
back to how
man.
that whole situation started. Who was a part of the go getters for people who aren't familiar, and then tell us about it.
Man, the Go Getters was a phenomenal time in my life, man. I was a teenager, and I met a dude that went on to be one of the top producers and artists of ever. You know what I'm saying? I met him when I was in high school through a childhood friend that I went to grammar school with, who transferred to his grammar school, and then he went back to my high school. So we was at Simeon, and my buddy had, he had disappeared for a weekend, which was very abnormal, because we be in our community. We was in the hood. We had a line. The line was, it was doing pretty good for us, you know what I'm saying, at this time. And then he just disappeared. So he was like, man, where Buddy at? Buddy come back around. He had this real thick pod in his head. It looked like when Moses tried to part the Red Sea. It was really thick, big pod. And, people was cracking jokes on his haircut and this and that. But I seen the blend game. The blend game was proper. So I'm thinking, because I used to cut hair too. So I'm seeing the blend game was proper. So I'm thinking that pod might have been a distraction or something. It might have been some ladies around or something to make him take his eyes off the prize and give him that thick pod in his head.
You
But
seen the
I
bigger
did
picture.
I seen it, man, but I did commence in the roasting too, because it was it was something that you just could not undeny. It was undeniably hilarious. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, he was like, "Yeah, y'all roasting my haircut, this and that." Like, "Yeah, man, who cut your hair?" Then he said a name that we had never heard before, and the name was Kanye. He said, "Man, my man Kanye cut my hair. He did this." And I was like, "Kanye, what's that?" Like, I never heard a name like that. I didn't know what it was. He was like, man, that's my man. I went to grammar school with him. We used to be in a rap group, and he got some cold beats. And you rapping like he was rapping at the time too. You know what I'm saying? Because at this time we was teenagers, and I was already had a mindset of how we gonna find an exit out the business. You know what I'm saying? From being in the streets, we trying to find an exit out the streets.
How old
So
was you? You said you was a teenager.
man, I was like 15, 16.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I was 15 when I met Kanye. And at this time, I had already gone to multiple funerals. You know what I'm saying? And the funerals wasn't just adults, it was my friends. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? So it was like kind of traumatic. I'm like, all right, we over here, we getting this money, things going like it is, but it's casualties to this shit. I gotta find something for us to do. I took on the leadership role as a teenager. So I told my guys, like my closest guys from the area, I was like, this is what we on. We finna do music. I ain't had no money really. Like I had a little money, but not no industry money. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Uh, I ain't had no producer. I ain't really had no resources. I just had the wheel. Like, bro, we used to take cassette players, right? It's these things called cassettes. They like the shape of a rectangle. And you used to have to put these inside of a tape deck to hear music. This is some old prehistoric type shit. But this was going on when I was a shorty, right? So listen, we used to take two of those and have one of them playing the music, and then the other one we hitting the record and play button so we could rap into that one while the music was playing from the other one. Because all these cassette players had a microphone built in. So that was our studio. That's how where it all kicked off. I was gangster L. Really though was really though. You know what I'm saying? My man Birdman, his name was Smooth G at the time. You know what I'm saying? And we was like thinking we was gonna be rappers. Then he introduced us to Ye, and Ye had that magic, man. It was outstanding, bro, on the beat side. And he was only 15 when I met him, and I felt something from the music. I was like, and I think I might have been too young to have this foresight, but I had it. I knew that this dude was the one. You know what I'm saying? And he felt like I was the one because surely after my man introduced us, he told me I need to go solo. He was like, man, you really talented. You need to go solo. He was like, man, I'm gonna produce your whole shit. I was like, all right. I talked to my buddy about it. My buddy was in the street, so he wasn't really leaning towards rap. Like I was in the streets too, but
He
I
wasn't
was trying
taking
to
it as
find an
serious.
exit. But he was content with like what he was doing. He was shit, and he was living a nice life. The man was like 16 with his own apartment.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he was like that. He was getting to it. So the music wasn't really his thing, but it was my thing. You know what I'm saying? So Kanye told me to go solo. I go solo. Kanye got a solo career. Really though was doing his thing on the solo side. My man Timmy G, he was like my little brother. Like I pretty much brought him into this thing. You know what I'm saying? I brought Really Doe into it, Timmy G, all the guys from the area that was with us. You know what I'm saying?
So how long did the Go Getters actually last before you was like, all right, fuck it, I'm going solo?
Yeah, well, I was soloed in, but then after we all had our solo careers, Kanye was like, man, we need to do a group. So the first group was the outfit. We was the outfit before
Mm.
we was the Go Getters. Kanye was already in the group called Abstract Mass. No, not Abstract Master. Damn, what was the name of his group? I can't even remember. But Abstract Master was a group that was around at that time. But Kanye was in the group with Gene and Frex back then. You know, some of his guys, and they was pretty dope rappers too. And then I was in the group with my man. And then when he was like, man, we should form this group, I brought in my man Aerostar, Timmy G, Really Dope. We became the Go Getters. You know what I'm saying? The actual rappers in the Go Getters was me, Kanye, Timmy G, and Aerostar. You know what I'm saying? Really Doe was doing a lot of writing, but he was still working on his solo career. You know what I'm saying? But he was one of the Go Getters with us as part of our family. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, Doe will be doing shows with us. Mickey and Christina. Mickey is the manager for G Herbo and Tink.
Yeah,
He was with us around that time. Cap One.
Mickey
He was,
Halstead.
yeah, Tifa and Shauna was around. Uh, damn, this dude named Chaos from out west, Shayla G. It was a lot of us, you know, Twine guys. A lot of us was just rapping. So the group, the Go Getters, me, Kanye, Timmy G, and Aerostar. We did that. We ended up on the radio. We had Song of the Summer. We got in the Source magazine. We was a group for like maybe 2-3 years trying to get it going. We got flew out to New York multiple times for labels trying to sign us and this and that,
Mm.
but it never happened.
And how
So
old were
Kanye,
you at this time?
man, I probably was like from like 15 up until like 20, maybe 20, 2021.
Okay, so y'all was on the road. Y'all was trying to work that number to make it happen at the time.
We was, bro, and we was relentless with it. I was working 50 hours a week. I had weed. I sell weed not legally, so I can say I had a lot of weed. I worked a full-time job, and I was in the studio. Like every opportunity I got, you know what I'm saying? We was there. So it was just like dedication, determination, and discipline, bro. That's what we was doing, real heavy.
Now, at this time, were you just in the studio heavy with Kanye still? Or were you still, you would talk to Ye when you see him, he'll hit you off with stuff, but you was kind of just making your own lane, or you was in there with him like every day almost, cooking up?
Man, we was together at least 4 to 5 times a week.
Mm.
Like
Yeah, that's,
working, like
yeah,
all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like all of us that was really trying to get something popping. Ye got flown out for single solo deals, then the group deals, and we ain't get none of that. So Kanye was just simply like, man, I got these beats. I'm about to go out here to New York and get these beats popping. Cause he had already got several placements on other artists, like from Nas to Eminem to
right.
Jermaine Free. But when he got that Benny Siegel joint that he got, that's when he locked in with Rockefeller when he did The Truth. And that was like 99. So like 2 years later, he was in New York, man. He was like, I'm gonna get these beats off. And once I get these beats off, then you know what I'm saying? Man, I'm gonna send it up. We gonna all get on.
Now, that 15-year-old you, first of all, for people who don't know, is a lot of legendary people that come from Simeon, first off in
For
Chicago,
sure.
just off back. But at that time, you 15, did you
Mm-hmm.
think, you know, in your circle of people, you will be around so many iconic legends today, not just Kanye, but we talking really dope. Don C, Cootie. You had a lot of people. I know it's people that I'm not naming that you'll get to, but I'm
Yeah.
like, this collective. What was in the water at that time, or what was y'all smoking at that time that had y'all just at the A game at the top of it, and y'all was building something that Chicago had never seen?
Man, we had some of that crunching, man, but real early. You know what I'm saying? The crunching was like taking us to where we needed to go. But no, what it was, man, it was a will to win and the fact that we all felt limitless.
Mm,
We felt like we was a reckoning power of people bound by no means beyond measures.
mm. And y'all was
That's
on
how
that
we felt.
same wavelength. Everybody was on that same wavelength.
Man, listen, we had my brother, the late great Baba Quasi Ronald Harris. We had my sister, Cleo Harris, my brother Willie. We had Kanye's mother, the great Donda West. We had Really Dope Mama. We had Aerostar Mama. We had Birdman Mama. We had like a community of elders that was pouring into us, that believed in us, that thought that we could actually be something great. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? And my sister Donna, she was so raw because she was working at the Park District at Fort Foster Park, and I got into the summer camp as a shorty, like 7, 8 years old. Now I'm in summer camp at Foster Park, and while I'm there, my sister's a camp counselor, and they got these talent shows. She would always tell me like, "Little brother, you need to get in the talent shows." Like she was geeking me up. And it wasn't no guarantee that I was gonna win because she was a counselor, but I got in them talent shows and I was winning.
What's y'all
She
age
wasn't doing
gap?
the voting, but she felt like I was like probably just as talented or more talented than what she seen was up there. She encouraged me to do it at a young age. And then I started, oh, my sister's 12 years older than me.
Mm.
But yeah, and then when I was in grammar school, I played Dr. King in a play in second
What?
grade. Yeah, I had to memorize the I Have a Dream speech in second grade, bro.
You still
And I
remember that
did.
speech?
I do not still remember it because man, he when he said that dream was a nightmare, I was like, man, I don't even need to know it no more. You know what I'm saying? And when he said he felt like he led his people into a burning house, I didn't even know it no more.
Now that
But
was
then,
deep.
yeah, but I love when Dr. King said the Negro man in America is in exile in his own land. And then he was like, when we going to DC, we going to get our check because he came into the light. He was like, wait a minute, I've been bamboozled. And a lot of people be trying to talk down on Dr. King, but how you talking down on a man and you still alive? This man gave his life for what he
His
believed.
life.
You know what I'm saying? And he was wise enough to admit that he felt like, he had been flawed in some kind of way. You know what I'm
Yeah. And
saying?
just like
And
you, he started young too. He was about 15, 16 when he
yeah,
really jumped out there. So I mean, when that microscope on you, it's hard to make any mistake without people blowing it up.
yeah, bro. The thing is, we really just had a community. Even the street guys in my neighborhood, like the OGs that was really getting to it, man, you would go to them and be like, man, I'm trying to get some work. What's up? They would be like, you hell no. They'll tell me like, boy, you got a promising future. You got a head on your shoulder. You don't think like the rest of these little niggas. You know what I'm saying? They was telling me shit like that.
Right.
And at that time, I'm thinking like, man, they hating. Like, man, I'm trying to get some money. You know what I'm saying?
You
They was
young.
like, man, yeah, they like, man, we see you with these bad young girls. We see you, you know what I'm saying? How you carrying yourself? Like, man, nah, you don't. We can't hire you off the streets. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But you got to be off the streets. You know what I'm saying? But I still found me a way to get to it. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to shout out the heavies in my neighborhood that saw something in me that, acknowledged it early. You know what I'm saying? I think that was a beautiful thing. So it was a community from like the streets to family to females to your loved ones. A lot of people was just encouraging us because they thought we had something. You know what I'm saying?
And it's very refreshing you tell that story because I definitely remember a time like that. I definitely remember when the brothers that was before us, bigger than us, would just see those kids with those gifts and they wouldn't let them get into no trouble. Fast forward to now, it's definitely changed, and we'll get into that because you say some lines about that in a new single, Cuts Me Deep. And I'm like,
Yeah.
fast forward now, a lot of the big brothers and they use the term big homies and all that here. And it's different. They send you clean off.
Oh yeah,
You got a lot
man.
of
See, the thing
potential.
is with that. Oh, you was still talking. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. You got a lot of potential and they are hating now. They see that potential and it's different. They want to send you off to dim your light. So what's your thoughts on just the overall landscape of Chicago and where we are now?